I'm pleased to be joined here by Toshio Morohoshi from Fujitsu. And Toshio and I met last year at the Brainstorm conference at lunch. And for those of you who are tracking personal computing and things that relate to personal computing, I think Fujitsu has been an interesting story for quite a number of years. Toshio has worked in America for 10 years. He has taken over the American operations, combined them, made them profitable. I said to him earlier, if you were the top guy at Fujitsu and you were watching this career, it looks a little bit like a rocket. I'd be tending to think of him as the next CEO, but we'll see if that works out. Certainly, you've had your experiences in many different cultures, different around the world. You've been in Europe as well, I think. Is that right?
I've never lived in Europe, but I travel a lot to Europe,
sure.
European countries.
And you know, I think when I saw Fujitsu and Siemens team up, that was an interesting moment. That everyone thought that was going to be trouble, and that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it worked out very well.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting venture. It's a 50%.
Yeah.
Fujitsu and Siemens. So actually, I have a funny story. When we announced, Fujitsu and Siemens announced that we make a joint venture company called Fujitsu Siemens. It was 1999. And at that night, I was having dinner with one of the top guys at Dell. They were saying that Japanese husband and German wife can never make a good family. Mm-hmm. So I said, maybe this Japanese wife and German husband can make a good family.
It worked out.
Yeah, it's very profitable.
Yeah.
And doing well.
Yeah. So, and I think watching the company Fujitsu on the personal systems level has been pretty interesting too. And of course, there's mainframe. There are a lot of different parts of this story, and they're all doing pretty well. In the U.S., those of us who are just on the consumer side probably just see laptops or PCs, yeah. and that's it.
Just laptops. Some part of some unique laptops only, because this market is so price competitive.
Yes.
Fujitsu is very good at making advanced products.
Yes.
But not particularly good at making cheap, conventional products.
You said it better than I could.
Yeah. So we just focus on more advanced, differentiated products only, like this one. This is my personal machine.
Here we go.
It's a sales
Show
pitch.
and tell.
This is about 3 hours battery life. And those of you who are carrying a heavy, I don't tell you the name of manufacturer, Dell, but laptops, it's much better for your shoulders.
Very light?
And I have actually extended battery, which has probably 6 hours of battery life.
And the weight is?
This is about 2 pounds.
Yeah. Beautiful. Very nice. It's got a swipe on it?
Yeah, fingerprint.
Yep.
Which I have never used.
Bluetooth?
Bluetooth, yes. Wireless.
Mm-hmm. Memory?
Should be 80 gig.
Mm-hmm.
1 gigabyte of main memory. 80 gig of disk drives.
Very nice. Big speaker.
This is about 1 year old, so new one must be better.
All right.
So our company is still cheap, so I just get the one.
I'll just borrow this one until the middle. Yeah, very cool.
So we focus on more advanced technology products only in this market.
Yes.
Well, in Japan, so geographically pretty different. In Japan, we are like IBM, EDS, Dell together. So we have to even Nokia. We have cellular phones, laptops, desktops, mainframes, servers. But outside Japan, we just limit to the areas that we have strengths in technology.
So I'm kind of laying this out with your help this way because a lot of folks who are here probably don't even know that. Mm-hmm. And specifically probably have a perception of Fujitsu solely based upon American shelves and what they've seen there.
Sure.
And my hope today in asking you to be with us is that I want to talk about the other part. Now, I'm interested in America, but I'm more interested right now in in your vision of the future, and particularly as a company which has worked pretty hard to differentiate at a time when we think of PCs as commodities. I mean, we're seeing a lot of Dell machines around here. Michael Dell's been here before. And
right.
So probably the guy you were having dinner with has been here at some. So we'd like to have the other story.
Yes.
What is it like? What does it look like to someone who's taken that other path, where you're really looking hard at how to differentiate a product or a set of products, and we'll move beyond just the computer, but maybe if you could describe what the landscape looks like from your perspective, when you see you're at Fujitsu and you look around and as a PC maker first maybe, how does it look? What do the other countries look like? What do the other makers look like? How do you feel about it?
So again, we say we are not Sony. Sony is more like a consumer electronics giant versus we have been our original strength is the enterprise solutions. So basically, again, I think our strengths resides in more advanced area, differentiated area. Obviously, we do some $1,000 laptops as well to make sure we have some existence in the market. But I'm pretty sure our strength is more differentiated. That another one is like UMPC, which we introduced last week.
Yeah.
Ultra mobile PC.
Yes.
Which is about a pound, maybe 1.2 pounds. On this side, 5.6-inch display.
I wrote about it in my newsletter last week.
I see. Thank you very much.
You're
And it has a UMTS already incorporated. So it's a wireless one technology, and basically it's a real PC with a small size. But again, for the future, I think PCs for the future, which is some people say PC will become a personal communicator together. But I think many kinds of areas, at least two, probably 3 or 4 areas that a PC will evolve into. One is for sure this personal communicator, which is small, with communication functions, cell phones, maybe gaming, potentially RFID together. And then maybe some, we may not call it as desktops in the future. Some areas that we use at home or business that we don't need to move around, but small. We already have a desktop of this size, this thickness. And the reason of this size is we have to use CD, DVD. So the size of DVD is a limitation, but the thickness is about this desktop. Obviously, no display, but you can connect to the display easily. So that's one area, and this PC communicator is personal communicator is another area, and then probably one more, maybe laptops for the future laptops, because or maybe tablet area. Although tablet PC itself is not so popular yet, but in the future maybe become more popular in the future. Now it's a tablet PC called convertible, which is tablet PC and laptop.
Yeah.
Is more common than tablet PC itself. So maybe that area that we will be evolving to. But anyway, I think there are several kinds of areas that PC will be evolved into. And Fujitsu will be probably strong in some advanced technology PC communicator is small area, and maybe laptop, tablet PC type of area in the future. Because as I told you, we sell cell phones in Japan, which is actually sold very well.
Yes.
Don't tell NTT Docomo, by the way, but we're making pretty good money, which is very unusual in this industry. But,
are they cell phones?
Cell phones, making cell phones and making money. 2 kinds of cell phones. One is very advanced cell phones, which has already digital TV. So you can see TVs on the cell phones, even if you are driving. Don't watch TV while you are driving yourself, but while you are on the taxi or so, you can watch TVs clearly, much clearer than your TVs at home. So because of Japan's digital TV waves all around the place. And also, we have another cell phone, this is another example of the technology goes into this more differentiated and much easier and cheaper. Actually, this is not easy, but what we call rak phone, which is a top hit in cell phone in Japan. It's just a few functions, not a lot of functions, but very easy to listen to because we have noise cancellation functions. So probably most of your cell phones, if you go into very noisy areas, you can't.
Like a train.
Yeah, but like a train, you can't listen at all. Or the other side can't hear your voice.
Yes, right.
But our cell phones, because of this noise cancelling function, it's unbelievably good voice, even in the clouds,
Yeah.
in front of the trains, like that. So this is not an easy technology, but
No.
easy to use one.
Well, even in a car,
Yeah.
that's a problem. Highway noise.
Yeah,
or,
highway noise, those kind of things. So it's much better. This is a big hit now. And we actually
And
made
what's that called?
raku phone, which means easy
Okay.
in
all right,
Japanese.
Right.
We also, maybe this is too much, but it released a new cell phone, which you can use while you are having shower. We used a very famous talent, where he's having shower and speaking to his friend over the cell phone.
He's not doing karaoke.
not karaoke yet. You can do
That's
karaoke.
where you
by
practice
the way.
karaoke, I think.
We have a karaoke function with cell phones too.
I thought so.
It's very common in Japan. We have actually, we say wallet cell phones. Wallet cell phone. In Japanese, osaifu keita. Osaifu means wallet. And cell phone is keitai cell phones, which you can use cell phones when you go on to the trains. This is already, many people use that. Like you put the cell phones, or even
To
if
pay,
you don't
right?
need to.
The wallet
if you-
phone.
Wallet phone.
Yeah.
Just go through the gate.
Yes.
The train station.
And it senses.
They just count, and when you get out from at some other station,
Yeah.
they just deduct from your account.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is
Is it using RFID?
same. It's not RFID itself.
More
but
secure,
Same,
huh?
yeah, same kind of technology.
Yeah, but better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's called FiRe, using the FiRe technology.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So I'm sorry, I'm talking about cell phones now.
No,
but
it's okay because we like that.
Yeah, my point is that technology will be evolved into several directions.
Right.
PC, I believe PC will be two.
Yes.
One is for sure much easy use, maybe very price competitive. The other is more like advanced technology, and the other is probably much smaller kind of things, including communicators.
Yeah. All right, so this is pretty interesting because this shows me a little bit about how you're thinking. It's not one size fits all. It's not a Swiss knife.
Right.
It's going to be identifying large segments of buyers, like people who need train voice cancellation, commuters, right, and making a specialized device just for them, stripping out features, making it simple, affordable, and then having the high-end device somewhere else for somebody else. And is there kind of a limit in your mind? Do you just do 3 products, or you do 30 products, or?
So again, we generally only very good at technology, advanced technology products. So when it's advanced technology, we do that. And when it becomes common, maybe we have to withdraw from the operations.
Yeah.
It's okay, as long as we can continue this cycle.
And that's the positioning you want to have in Japan and globally.
Yes, globally.
As the advanced technology
Right.
leaders. Yeah, okay.
But in Japan, generally speaking, people tend to buy much more sophisticated products than here.
We don't get them over here. It's not fair. We have to go to Ginza to get our products, right?
The average purchase price of desktop PCs in Japan is over $2,000. And here is 400,
Yeah,
500.
well,
So
yeah,
that's difference of the market.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. And does that mean that they're? And here I'm just showing my ignorance about the Japanese market. When people are spending that money, are they getting more for it than we get?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's high prices.
I think they invest more for new technology, or for education, or for amusement, probably, than here.
Yeah. I want to go back for a minute to that little desktop thing you were talking about. Now, I think most of the U.S. makers are thinking, and I'll confess that it would have been me too probably, if you have a whole desktop to play with, don't worry about the size. But you're sounding as though size is very important on the desktop. You got it down to the size of a disk. Is this a mobile unit?
It's
You pick it up and take it with you?
you can't do that because it's so small. It's not heavy. But it's the definition of mobile PCs and desktop PCs are
very different.
Very good.
But is it small so that you can move
small,
it? Or
but using desktop processor from Intel. I still have Intel person here. Right? So,
Yeah.
versus Intel has two categories. One is desktop processor, the other is
Yes.
mobile processor.
Not a
they're emerging
Centrino.
too, but-
It's a, yeah, okay,
right.
yeah.
So it's by definition it's a desktop.
Got it.
But it's in mobility. But we don't have any display with it, so that's the difference probably.
Is this an aesthetic? Is this partly aesthetic? So you just don't clutter the desktop, make it very small?
It's very small,
Yeah.
aesthetic, yes. But it doesn't have any display, so you have to connect to the display.
Right.
But you can connect to any other displays easily
Right,
too.
right.
So even Bluetooth.
Well, why not have a tower that's this big underneath your desk, so you don't see it all, that's full of chips and boards and expansion
Right,
slots?
right.
But you think this is better, huh?
In terms, especially in Japan, the space of the office is
Yeah,
limited.
yeah.
Still, the land cost is becoming better than before
Mm-hmm.
because of the economic clash of the last 10 years or so, 15 years.
Yeah.
But it's coming back.
Yeah.
2 years ago, 3 years ago was the lowest.
Yes.
So you must have bought Japanese property 3 years ago,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's come
Now
back to
we're
some
back,
extent, yeah. So we need smaller devices. But I think in Europe too, they need smaller devices than the US. And in the US too, I think the trend of wishing for more smaller products is becoming stronger than before.
Yeah. Well, actually, as we're talking, I'm wondering whether Steve Jobs copies you or whether you copy Steve Jobs.
I don't
Maybe
know.
neither one. Huh? Sir, I think he has a sense of design which is almost
he does.
Oriental.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine he actually travels and looks at
Yeah,
Japanese.
he loves Japanese culture
Yeah.
too. Right?
Yeah.
Steve and also Larry Ellison too.
Yeah. So if we've got this, you actually went to my very last question by jumping into the telephone thing, and I want to come back in a different way. How do communications and computers work together? I mean, if you're manufacturing all of them, you must have a pretty strong interest in how they integrate with each other.
So we have to integrate for sure. And also communication processes and computation processes are becoming common and common. So we may use one single processor for both purposes, which we are doing already. And that's the first direction. In terms of communication method, WiMAX and 3G. Now in Japan we are already 3G in most countries, by the way. The US is most behind, as you know well.
Yes,
in
and
that
we're
sense.
proud of it, by the way. We're working hard to drop that down to number 15 or 20 if we can.
And now we are going toward 4G also, but also WiMAX too. WiMAX is potentially a very good substitute for the future, and not maybe I feel like WiMAX is winning over 4G.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because of its standardization. 4G, 3G, 4G, you still the industry still needs a lot of investment. And before we get all the returns from the investment, a new technology emerges.
Yes.
That's the biggest issue for
Very
companies
expensive.
like us. Very
Yeah.
expensive. Versus WiMAX, where it's already standardized, and so nobody can get the total IP, total intellectual property right, and get a huge amount of money, but still many people can benefit
Yes.
together equally from the standardization.
Yeah.
So I think this WiMAX, a good thing about WiMAX is standardization for the future. And that's very possible that and if we standardize, obviously we incorporate WiMAX. We actually develop WiMAX chip by ourselves too.
You did?
Fujitsu is a vertically integrated company. We still have, I don't know, it's good or not, a semiconductor division, which is also only develops advanced technology only.
So you're making WiMAX chips
Yeah.
that are Fujitsu branded chips.
Right.
Yeah. And do you sell them? Do you export those?
Pretty soon.
Yeah. So that leads me to my next question, which is, and I wasn't intending at all to go there, but I realize I have somebody who probably knows the answer. China. Do you sell heavily into China?
We are actually, very honestly speaking, struggling to have a business with China. Like about a year ago, until a year ago, we had some.
They're all struggling, by the way. So
political issue.
Yeah.
Too. One is the former Prime Minister Koizumi didn't actually paid a visit to Yasukuni Shrine,
Yes.
which is kind of
Yes.
political issues, right? And so then,
Understatement
even
of all time.
we couldn't meet with any Chinese executives during that time.
Because of that.
Because
yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
And the new prime minister went to China first before he came to the States.
Mm-hmm.
And now China loves us.
Yes.
So maybe changing. But,
I had a bet on that, by the way, and I won that bet that Abe would go to China before.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he also visited the Yasukuni Shrine too. So.
He did? When?
No, a couple of times already.
Secretly?
No. It's
I didn't realize that. Is that
yeah,
true?
it's true. But he doesn't advertise.
Oh, maybe that's the difference.
That's the difference.
So he allows them to save face, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah. We're not talking about politics today, right?
No, we're not. This is a technology.
Technology.
Well, one thing you learn about FiRe.
So China-wise, yes.
Right.
China-wise, in terms of using people for manufacturing,
Yeah.
or people who are actually software development, there are very good people there.
Oh.
And cost is probably now cheaper than India, because Indian
You know Newsoft?
software,
Newsoft?
new
Yeah,
software. Cost of India, the average salary of Indian engineers are just skyrocketing now, as you know. So maybe Chinese engineers, of course, Indian engineers speak English better probably than Japanese, Chinese do. But the cost is probably cheaper in China in terms of software development or maybe outsourcing too. So that China is maybe very important. It should be very important for us in that sense.
So maybe India is establishing a price ceiling that would allow China to come in and write software. Okay.
That's right.
Or price floor, I should say.
Right. And there were many people too, many college graduates too, who are seeking for good jobs. So it's a great place.
So actually where I was trying to head with this non-political question was 4G, 3G. And China, in my understanding, has really blown it for 3G. They still don't have the licenses out. It's a kind of a joke to us and perhaps to you. But when they finally figure out what they're going to do about that, now they're advertising 4G because 3G is so late. And they're telling them about the 100 gigabits or whatever it's going to be and how great it is. But I wonder if WiMAX isn't the answer for China. Just skip all this stuff, right? Who's going to build a 3G network today?
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yes.
Yes.
Because as I told you, this development, especially this software side of people, Fujitsu itself has thousands of software developers for cell phones. Cell phone requires more software developers than mainframes now, 3G. And 4G is even more.
Yeah.
So I don't think China can catch up with 3G anymore.
Would you repeat that last statement? Fujitsu requires more software developers
in cell phones than we had in mainframes.
Wow. That's interesting.
By the way, speaking about cell phones, again, my favorite subject. I've been living in the States until August of last year, so I used US cell phones many years. Japanese cell phones is so sophisticated, but bad news is their user's guide had, when I bought a new one, 850 pages of user guide.
Wow.
I bet nobody reads it.
Totally intuitive interface?
So too many functions.
Not good. Too many programmers, not enough designers.
And I saw my Nokia phones, user guide was 24 pages.
Yeah.
So
800. So I think we're solving answering some interesting questions here. So you think WiMAX in China is a yes? Yeah. And coming back now to that original question, as you integrate telephony into the PC, let's look forward 5 years, which we try and do here. How does that work? Do I have more capacity on my computer? That's communications capacity, and how does it play out? How does it work?
So communications again, personal. There will be a merge of personal computing and personal communicators here. But so this has some kind of social level of personal computing with very good level of personal communication technology like 4G, potentially 4G everything. And but this area, the issue is that since it's a personal device, we can't make it too big in terms of size. That means we have only limited display size. And so again, that cannot replace all kinds of computing devices.
Right.
So personal communication is personal communication plus some personal computing capability only. That's what I think. But at the same time, we incorporate a lot of most advanced communication technologies there too.
Right.
Plus additions, like another funny story, it's already, again in use in Japan, is RFID on cell phones. And this is a very rich school, by the way, but each student of elementary school has a cell phone with RFID on it. And then so this kid goes through the gate of the school. The system automatically tells the parents that your child went to the school. And then when it gets out, that your child gets out of the school, something like that. So interesting idea. So additional features also will be incorporated too. By the way, let me show you some idea of.
We're going to go to slide.
Yeah, to go to slide. I'm sorry. This is it's not very. It says future PC, but it's already most of them in existence. Sorry. So like the one on the right-hand side, it looks like a clock, but it's a desktop kind of thing.
That's a desktop PC?
Desktop PC itself. And tablet and convertibles, I believe, there. And this the left bottom one is a smaller, but you can extend your keyboard to a full size
right.
too.
It's like a butterfly.
Yeah, it's like a butterfly too. So again, design-wise, potentially these PCs or desktop PCs might become like home appliances in the future. That's the idea.
Do you see people owning more than one? You see the
Yeah, so I think they will get more than one. And also at home, obviously, wireless LAN continues to be evolved at home too. So with many homes in the States too, we have already wireless LAN in each home.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that would be used for these kind of devices as well. Maybe look like a clock, but it's a desktop and a clock. Alarm clock too.
So the problem you run into when you start having multiple computers is file sharing. Unless you have such specialization of use of the machine that you don't care.
Right.
So my calendar is always over here, or is it shared across all the files? And do you see these things being in sync? Are they synchronizing all the time?
Yeah, it's
you think?
yeah, it depends on the obviously the software or the method, but it's easy to synchronize all the time.
And is that a Bluetooth function still, or is that going to be some other way of doing it?
Bluetooth, I believe, will continue for at least for several years because it's so easy, right? And obviously the limitation of the distance, but many cases we don't need a lot of distances. Especially in Japan, we don't need a lot of distances in offices.
Yeah.
So it's easy for us to use.
So you see a long life for Bluetooth?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. When you think about owning multiple machines, do you see? I want to go to the car for a minute because, for one thing, Toyota is one of my favorite companies. They're creaming us, as you know, over here. Cars have more computers in them than houses have, I think, now.
I heard that Lexus has more than 90 processors in one car.
Yeah.
And most of which is Fujitsu processors. So it's
Are they?
Thanks
All
to
right, so we have the right guy here to. So tell us about car computing. How does that work? Where is that going?
In many applications, like collision avoidance, or many kinds of applications, like I forgot the name. Like without paying money at the gate. How do you call that? It's,
same thing where a toll.
Yeah, toll systems.
So payment systems out of
payment
the car.
systems, or auto drive without even handling everything.
Yeah.
Just drives.
Cruise control or
drives that it is. Some of the functions are already in use, like Lexus already has automatic drive. The good news is it's automatic, and so it secures the distance.
Yes.
From the car in front of you. But bad news is if you secure some distance, all the cars get into the side. So even more dangerous.
Right.
So
typical.
But again, so I can't tell you the more applications today, but we see a lot of potential applications in auto computing there too. We have actually two companies. One company with Toyota, joint venture with Toyota, developing those applications. And the other company is Isuzu developing this application.
I talked to the vice chair of Toyota at the same gathering we were at together, and he said we were talking about cars and software and computer. And he said unlike American software, we don't want the user to even know it's there, right? It should be so bulletproof or so good that you never even know there was a computer there.
Yeah, so transparent.
Yeah, yeah. Which, as a user of a car, I like that. I think, but it strikes me that's for the driver. Then there are passengers, and increasingly we're seeing third, fourth screens, thing for the kids in back. And is there a whole new opportunity for computing for non-drivers in the car?
Non-drivers in terms of this digital
Education and entertainment and
digital TV on the backside. You can watch TVs. Actually, it's already in use in Japan. It's unbelievably clear TVs in cars while you're driving.
Right.
I mean, you're not driving yourself, but you're on the car.
Yeah.
So that kind of technology can be used in the car. Probably much more than gaming. Of course, it's easy, right? Many other applications can be thought.
Okay, let's go to gaming, since that's a really hot area in every country, I think, now. Are there going to be computers? I know Dell's come out with a special line. HP has now come out with a special line. They purchased these companies. Is this something that Fujitsu is interested in?
I mean,
multiplayer gaming?
Again, as I say, we're not Sony, so we're not interested in that unless we merge with Sony.
Yeah. That's not too likely, is it?
I don't think so.
We can hold that news for a while.
Don't buy Fujitsu stock by speculating to be merged with Sony.
Yeah, all right. But it seems like for computers in general, it's a pretty hot area.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking about gaming and computers, as we have it's shown already, I'm sorry, on the page. Yeah. This technology can be used for computers and gaming as well. This is the right bottom picture is a real ebook we already selling now. It's a bit expensive. It's about over $2,000. So I don't like you to buy at this stage, but it's already selling. It's the left-hand side is $2,000. Right-hand side is probably $1,200. Left-hand side is A4. It's about the letter size, and right-hand side is smaller. But this technology is display is bendable. I mean, it's called color electric color paper. So it's like a paper. You can bend it, and this doesn't require power at all.
Wow.
Virtually nothing. So the battery life is even very small battery. This particular machine over there, which is already being sold, is they have 80 hours battery life, 80 hours, and the battery is very small. So using this technology in the future, probably we can use a solar cell, I mean solar battery for computers, because we don't need a huge power for displaying.
Is there a name other than ebook for that technology? Do you have a?
Yeah, we just call this electronic paper, which is very common word.
But there's no more specific name for it that you have internally?
No, we didn't. We have a product name. I believe it's called FiRe or something. It's not very fancy. It's FiRe. It's the name of this product. But this technology is called electric paper technology. And this is basically application of liquid crystal technology. So it's not a normal liquid crystal. This is called cholesteric liquid crystal technology, plus some other inventions we have. So it's very interesting.
Very cool.
This can be used for computing, used for gaming, or many other purposes. Like we are thinking about using for books. You can bend, because in Japan the commute is very tough, most of cases, and you have to sit, you have to stand in the trains, very crowded trains. Yet many people like to read books. You don't have space to open the page, so one space is enough. Right? One page is enough. Then you can automatically change to the next page using this, and you can even bend it to here.
I was going to say you could roll it up and use it with that other very small disk-sized computer, and take it to your next place of work and open it up again.
That's another idea. Right? This kind of desktops plus this display, connected together.
Right. That makes it truly portable.
Yes.
One more question, and then I want to open it up to the audience for Q&A. So if you could describe the experience of computing, not just the boxes and stuff, but the actual computing experience in 5 years, how does it feel to be a user of the computing environment?
I believe we're still struggling to use computers. It's becoming much easier than before. Obviously, the Microsoft Windows Vista is much better software than before. But still, the input, for example, using keyboards, well, tablet is okay, but you don't like to write too many words on tablet, right? And especially you have to write neatly too. Also, so maybe the voice recognition might be should be more advanced. In terms of the development of voice recognition, for example, Fujitsu has been developing for 30 years. And
Everybody, yeah.
still not the level that we are satisfied yet.
Yeah.
So maybe you take another 10 years or so, but in the future, this will be evolved.
Yeah. Hurry up, okay? Hurry up. We want to get there. All right. Are there people here who would like to ask questions? And do you have the house lights? If you just come up to the microphone, tell us who you are, and ask away.
As a user, Larry Smart, I'd like to say that I love my Fujitsu
Thank you very much.
tablet. I've been using tablets now exclusively for 3 years. I've had through essentially at least 6 or 8 of them. And the Fujitsu Slate, no keyboard,
Slate
is by far my favorite. And I don't quite know why people haven't adopted the tablet more. This is the only computer I have, and I've only been doing handwriting, as the only input, occasionally keyboard. Do you have any idea why that is?
I believe still people tend to key in computers too much. So they don't like to write anymore by themselves. And then speaking about myself, when I got back to Tokyo about 9-10 months ago, I started writing Chinese kanji characters by myself, and I found out it's too difficult for me now to write kanji characters. So those ways, I think writing has some hesitation now, so keying is much easier.
Are you keying, Larry? What?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So writing, maybe you can write neatly. But this actually, recognition should be improved too. Well, it's pretty good now, but still we need improvement there as well.
Thomas Curran. Quick question. You mentioned in the beginning that you had UMTS in your laptop, and I was recently in Japan on the train. In Germany, we have in the ICE trains full internet access, and although a lot of people still use the UMTS network, I'd say maybe 50-50. What's your sense of how the train market is moving for internet access in Japan, and are you doing anything in that space?
Japan so far, you're talking about Japan, right?
Yeah.
So far, wireless LAN in train is not very common at all. So maybe because I believe cell phone technology is so advanced there, so they mostly what young people do is a simple message by cell phones, and so some businessmen like myself like to use a wireless LAN in trains, but not very common yet. And I believe some trains like bullet train, Shinkansen bullet train, they will do that, this wireless LAN, very soon, but not the normal commuting trains. That's and I don't see the necessity or future of normal commuting trains carry wireless LAN in trains. Or other more UMTS or those wireless WAN would be more convenient.
The German train system's been very successful with that, so
Yeah.
just an observation. Yeah. They didn't really want to use WiMAX. I've supported in Germany. That's another topic you were mentioning before. And interestingly enough, both Deutsche Telekom and Vodafone decided not even to bid for WiMAX in Germany because they felt there wasn't any market for it at all. Yeah.
We have probably time for one more question, Jim.
Yeah, Jim Lauterbach, and since we're all pulling our computers out, what about design? This is, I don't actually use this in tablet mode, but it's a Toshiba, and they actually made a computer that's actually nicely designed. Mark, you talk a lot about SID with the D being the design. Where are you guys on coming up with products that people want to touch and feel and hold on to, especially in a form factor like this? It seems everybody's trying to outdo each other. Yeah, I've seen a picture of it. It is beautiful. But what about other things like that?
So
How important is design to you? And
yeah, we actually use many of outside design firms for our design. So design is very important. Industry design is very important. But maybe I have to confess that Sony design might be better than Fujitsu design. We are more, because of our history, probably a character of the company, we're more focused on enterprise solutions than more consumer solutions.
Right.
But we have to strengthen that area as well.
Yes, everybody's starting to pay more attention.
That's now my responsibility too.
Okay. More of that to come. Well, thank you very much. I think we're finished, and I very much appreciate your candor.
Thank you.
Thank you.